The owner-operators of the E-Circle, E standing for entrepreneur. The E-Circle, a very successful entrepreneurial company. And let's start out by having you briefly tell me a little bit about your backgrounds before you joined together in E-Circle.
Sure, just briefly, I've been a business owner now since '96. Had a medical imaging company, have been involved in a couple of other entrepreneurial ventures. So for me, it was just something I haven't been able to get out of my blood.
So essentially though, Michael, you're literally saying that your life has been as an entrepreneur.
At least for the last 16 years.
16 years.
Yes.
That's long enough. Maria, how about yourself?
Well, I didn't start out quite the same way. I started out, I had the privilege of being able to stay home with our children.
Mm-hmm.
We are married.
Mm-hmm.
And then later started helping out and got the entrepreneurial bug myself. And we've
And
been
there you are.
working together ever since.
Excellent, excellent. So tell us about why you, the two of you didn't wake up one morning and say, let's start E-Circle, right? Or maybe you did. But why did you start E-Circle? When did you start it and why did you start it?
Well, it started in 2003 and believe it or not, primarily as a business networking organization. Mm-hmm. But we started offering a couple of particular services that people liked within the organization, which totally caused us to transform from being a networking group to more of a peer advisory type group. Mm-hmm. And it's been great.
And you know, in being entrepreneurs ourselves, we're in the trenches alongside of them. So helping them grow as we grow ourselves.
Well, actually, the situation that you have being entrepreneurs, right, is that you share your pain. Yes. And you share your gain is what you're doing in networking with other people. And I assume, Maria, that what's happening is that all of you along the way learn best practices. And essentially with your network, what you're saying is, why would you want to reinvent the wheel and get hurt doing it this way when all of us have tried it another way and it works?
You just nailed the primary reason that that people join a peer advisory board. It's to learn from other owners, presidents, and CEOs. What did you do? What mistakes did you make? How did you handle this issue when it came up?
And is that the primary mission,
That's
Michael?
the primary mission at the moment, are these executive roundtables, these peer advisory boards.
Okay, and literally that translates to when you hold an executive roundtable, the invitations go out, and these are executives, Maria, of what size companies?
They're small companies.
They're small companies?
Yes.
Okay.
They're 2 to 25 employees. You know, they've been in business 5 to 25 years.
Yeah, and do you, just out of curiosity, I mean, having run large corporate businesses as well as small corporate ones, the failure rate among small businesses, if left to their own devices, is pretty high, isn't it?
It's really high.
Yes, so I would imagine the value added to this is, part of your mission must be to help each other not to fail.
That's precisely our mission. 96% of business owners will go out of business in 10 years. So if a business starts today, 10 years, 96 will be out of business. There's a sense of isolation. There's also a sense when you start a business that I do this thing really well. Mm-hmm. And you come to find out that you can do that thing this much of the time. The rest of the time you need to be selling, marketing yourself, handling your books, all these other things. And when you're by yourself, because you're at the top, it can be pretty lonely.
How true that is. You know, Michael, I just had a flashback. Seeing you sitting there, when you and I first met each other, in your background there somewhere, were you a combat medic?
In the Gulf War, in Operation Desert Storm.
You know, I'm sitting here and I'm looking at you thinking, because my prior guest, Mike, is a doctor in emergency medicine, and he was over there in that war as a doctor servicing combat units with combat medics working with him.
Okay.
So, I mean, that had nothing to do with it.
No, but you
just kind of a flashback.
Fantastic memory. Great memory.
A flashback. So what are you doing right now, Maria? What's up with the E-Circle right now?
Oh, wow. We have spent the last 6 years just looking for what makes a business owner successful and how can we be more successful, how can we help our business owners. So we have just created this program called the Human Performance Academy. It's a 4-week program to help business owners understand how they can reach peak performance. And since he is the creator of this program, I'm going to let you speak a little more.
Sure. Well, and to go back a little bit, what are we up to now? We do the executive roundtables. We also, a few years ago, evolved into one-on-one executive
like
coaching.
executive coaching? Okay.
That's been going really well. And as Maria alluded to, it's really caused us to do a great deal of studying other business owners. I've interviewed psychologists, psychiatrists, interviewing a well-known athletic coach in the near future, because this whole concept of peak performance is not only fascinating, but our mission, you brought up the high failure rate of small businesses. Really, our mission, my mission in life, business-wise, professionally, is to bring that number down, is to give people better odds of better tools for not only surviving, but thriving.
So, Mike, that's interesting to me. What's interesting to me is, I mean, knowing you as I do, when you were doing your research, certainly you and Maria came across when you were talking about it. I can just see the two of you talking about it, that, and I'm not saying this in a deprecating sense, but certainly there are other people out there who compete with you about this kind of thing, peak performance. So let's leave it there. On one end of the spectrum, you got somebody like Tony Robbins used to be, right? The real high energy, get 10,000 people in a room and get them all worked up. And I say that admiringly, right? All the way down to people like yourselves who are doing it at a smaller level. You're calling it a performance academy. But if I'm someone that's choosing to go to Maria and Mike's Performance Academy, there are other options that I have. Like I could go to a B-School seminar, right? Or I can go to a competitor seminar. What is it about what you've put together, you and Maria have put together, that is going to make you stand out and more competitive than other choices I might have?
I think that's a great question, and a couple of things. You know, I admire Tony Robbins too, but ours isn't really about getting people fired up or getting them motivated. What is a little different about this is they get very practical things that they can apply to themselves and to their business. And while we still encourage people to go to business seminars on particular business topics, this whole program works, it's primarily about the person working on themselves and their own performance. And one of the other things that we delve into that I haven't seen a lot of other people really dive into is mind management. You know, your brain is always messing with you in various ways. And I think if people don't
Especially
understand,
as an entrepreneur.
right? That's exactly right. You can really get into thinking ruts and behavioral ruts, attitudinal kind of ruts, and so we work a lot specifically on the mind management side of things too.
How long did you say it is, Maria?
It's been 6 years that we've been delving into this
Okay,
topic.
but now that you have the Performance Academy,
Yeah.
How long of program is that? Is that every day? Is it once a week?
It's once a week for 4 weeks.
Once a week for 4
Yes.
weeks. And do you conduct it? You facilitate it yourselves?
We
Yes.
both facilitate.
And are
yes.
you the speakers yourselves, or do you bring people in, or you're pretty much doing it yourselves right now?
Pretty much doing it ourselves right now, and
Okay.
what it will continue to evolve
And
over time.
when did you launch it?
We launched it in August.
Oh, of this year?
Yes. It's very new.
Performance
Oh.
Academy is
Yes.
brand new.
Okay, so, and what's been the response to it?
The response has been pretty high. You know, on the one hand, you have folks saying, 4 weeks? Are you out of your mind? I don't have 4
Even
weeks.
if it's once a week, right?
Right.
Yeah.
But then you have those that are pretty excited about it, and they're there, and they're willing to raise their sleeves and get into the nitty-gritty of things.
Well, that's great.
Yeah.
Well, listen, seeing the two of you together, I mean, you probably know that I'm going to say something like, I mean, as a tennis player, right, you never play doubles with your wife. You just don't do that, right, because the dynamics aren't too good. So, I mean, is the corollary true, Maria, that, I mean, there you are, husband and wife in business for a long time together now. How did the two of you manage to get along?
Well,
Fair question.
It's a very fair question, and I can't say it's always been rainbows and cupcakes. However, you have to just identify what each other's strengths are and allow that person to use their strengths. That's actually one thing we talk to all of our clients about, and it's a major part of the Human Performance Academy. Work to your strengths. I like to call them your superpowers. So we've just identified, here's what he's good at, here's what I'm good at. We don't even work in the same location. We have an office, but we work separately.
Yeah. Do you do it out of your home?
I do like to work out of the home office. He likes to go into the office.
Do your kids understand that when mom is working in her home office that she's not really mom, she's Maria, the businesswoman? Or?
They have been experiencing that since they were 4 years old. So when I'm on the phone, even when they've had friends over, they say,
oh,
she's on the phone.
Well, that's good, because it's hard for them sometimes.
And as far as being a couple, it is something we've had to proactively work on.
Yeah.
The one best thing about it is neither one of us ever questions the other one's agenda. We know we're sharing the same mission, but sometimes when you get two strong-willed people together that have different viewpoints on how things can go, it's led to some pretty colorful
conversations. I think what Maria
conversations.
said is probably the key to it. If you can find how you complement and supplement each other, it's going to be okay.
We've always joked that together we actually make one whole person.
That's great. So listen, I mean, as small business owners, right, let's simulate a bit here. Maria, so we're sitting down, we're in the governor's mansion. I'm the governor, of course. And we're sitting down, and nice to meet you, Maria. So here we are, you and Michael are sitting beside me, and I turn to you, Maria, and I say, Maria, look it, as the governor of the state of Connecticut, how can I help your small business grow? And your response to me would be?
Jim, I've been asked this question before, and the answer is extremely snarky, but I'm going to say it. Just leave us be.
Just start with governor, though.
Governor,
Okay. Go right ahead, Maria.
please let us be. Leave us to our own devices to go and create what we need to create.
So that's short form. I didn't find that snarky. That's really short form for just stay out of my way and let us grow the business. Leave us alone.
Right.
Maria, it would probably not surprise you and Michael to know that probably 100% of all entrepreneurs or small business people I have on the show that I ask that question, uncategorically, without exception, say the same thing. So the message to the political establishment, whether it's the city or the state or national, is if you're looking for small business to grow, which, by the way, generates 85% of all new jobs, leave us alone, get out of our way. Give us some access to capital, keep the laws and regulations down, taxes down.
Keep us ethical.
Keep us we'll be okay.
Yeah.
I would take a very, I guess, to use political terms, a very libertarian point of view about that. Is as long as we're not breaking laws, ruining the environment, et cetera, just leave businesses
Leave us
alone. Right.
So listen, the other thing, so Michael, I come to you and I say, Michael, look it. I'm thinking of joining the E-Circle, and I'm going to give you about 30 to 45 seconds to convince me that I should join. So convince me, Michael.
Oh, a couple of real big things. Our members experience on average each year about 33% revenue growth, sometimes a little bit more than that. Under 5, we gave you the bad statistic about businesses going under. Less than 5% of E-Circle members' businesses have gone under.
That's a good number.
So I like that a lot. And people have also, we do surveys, big surveys once a year. And people's profit margins, not only gross revenues, but profit margins seem to go up on average about 19% as well. So for many people, for entrepreneurs, the bottom line is the bottom line.
So I mean, from a quantitative point of view, you got me halfway through the door now, Michael, right? Sure. From a qualitative point of view, in terms of the resources that you make available to me, Maria, what do you make available to me by way of resources?
By way of resources, well, I give you a peer advisory board. It's other business owners that have experienced the things that you're experiencing or are in the midst of it, so they can share their stories.
And how frequently would I meet with these people?
You would meet with them once a month.
Once a month?
Yes.
Anything else?
In addition to that, you get the one-on-one coaching. So I look at the two as the peer advisory board is the conversation about that 30,000-foot view. Here's what I'm up to, here's what I need to go and do. The one-on-one coaching is more the mundane conversation. Here's what's happening right now, the nitty-gritty, maybe the disagreements or the communication issues.
Okay, is this kind of like a la carte for me, though, Maria? In other words, what I'm saying is that each one of those components have separate pricing?
No, it's one price.
Oh, it's a one price. So under the umbrella of one price is what it is that you described?
Yes.
Okay. We have just a couple minutes to go, less than 2 minutes to go. So if I were to pay, Michael, you and Maria the highest compliment I could, as the owner-operators of the E-Circle, what would that highest compliment be?
The highest compliment would be that we've created a truly valuable service for our existing clients and our future clients. We want them to be better than they were before they joined up with us.
Maria?
I would agree with